show that's 3 dimensions away from Mean Girls getting a sequel rather than a reboot. I'm your host, 3D Jake, and today we're looking at Mean Girls, released in 2004. Mean Girls is directed by Mark Waters and is written by Tina Fey and is based on Queen's book Queen Bees and Wannabes by Rosalind Williams. The movie stars Lindsay Lohan, Rachel McAdams, Amy Poehler, Amanda Seyfried, Lacey Chabert, Jonathan Brent, and of course Tina Fey and Tim Meadows. The movie is essentially a story about Lindsay Lohan, who is a high schooler, and basically her name is Caddy, and she's from Africa, and so she moves to the U.S. and she usually is homeschooled in Africa, so she doesn't know how the cliques work in school. And the movie is essentially kind of like Clueless in a way, but a little bit raunchier. And I will say, when I saw this movie for the first time, I actually rented it. We rented the movie from the video store, and I was like, so I got the VHS tape, and so we watched it, and I'm like, I cannot wait to watch this movie. Or was it? Yeah, it was on VHS. Was it? No, was it? No, I don't know if it was on VHS. I think we watched it on VHS. It could have been DVD, but we did watch the movie at a video store, rented it. And so we watched the movie, and it was so good. Like, it's really funny. It's like the first it even starts out, with like those rednecky homeschool kids and just saying awful things. And I mean, that's pretty funny. And then of course when she goes to school and like she sees like she thinks a teacher, and this girl like talk to me again, I'll kick your ass. And then of course you then these Lizzie Kaplan, who I forgot to mention, is like she literally is like like a goth girl, and she gets bullied, and so she tries to look out for her and everything, and they become friends, and it really is. It feels like a wonderful story about and then of course once she runs into the clique, the three girls, the mean girls, and so basically and so what happens is and whenever they basically befriend her, and then of course she starts turning into them, but then when she's like, oh, maybe they're not bad, then of course Rachel McAdams' character, Regina George, she basically is like everyone terrorizes everyone around the school because she's like a big bully, and of course they're the plastics, and so they basically terrorize the school and everything. And so you have Regina George is like the queen bee wannabe, and she's like the queen of the plastics, and she belittles everybody in the school. And then you have Amanda Seyfried's character, who basically is just so dumb. Like, she's just so dumb, like the dumbest person ever. And then you have Lacey Chabert's character, Gretchen Wieners, who is just like, she talks bad about everybody. Like, she's basically gossips about everybody, and so it's so funny. And so basically, Lindsay Lohan's character, basically befriends them, but then she realizes when they basically talk gossip about her, and then when Rachel McAdams' character Regina kisses the guy she likes, then they start plotting against Regina George and try to destroy them from within. And I think that's what's so funny. I mean, this movie is really good. Okay, like honestly, like I know some people always say, "Oh, it's a chick flick." It's not a chick. It's actually a flick for everybody. Like this is a comfort movie for me. So like I will sit down and watch this movie when I want to feel good about myself, because I'm like, this is literally, or not like good. I'm not like egotistic, but I want to when I feel like I want to be comforted, like when I want to feel like like I'm like kind of down, and I just want to feel happy. That's when I kind of want to watch this movie, because it's really funny. I mean, like it's literally a movie like you can watch from beginning to end and enjoy it, And I really like those. Like one time I was like, I want to watch this. Not too long ago I even showed my niece this movie for the first time, and she loved it. She said it's really funny too. Like I really like how like the story structure of this movie, the narrative of it is really good, because it it doesn't really, like, the protagonist is Caddy Herons, okay, and so I do like that the whole movie follows Caddy Herons, Lindsay Lohan's character, and I like that she's the protagonist, and she basically narrates everything, and she basically is explaining to the audience what this is, and I like that. I really enjoy this movie. This movie is very good. I'm a huge fan of the direction that the style is. I mean, because it's directed by Mark Waters, and I think he directed Freaky Friday, and I really like Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan, so I think he did a great job directing this. Tina Fey's script is fantastic in this movie, and I also think this was Rachel McAdams' like third movie or fourth movie, I think, and I know she did. She was shooting The Notebook at times, so like she had to wear a wig, and that wig was pretty expensive. And so, like, Rachel McAdams in this movie is really good as the villain. Like, she is so good, and I like how it humanizes her. It shows you, like, her mom is like, because you kind of see her mom has kind of been like this, like, older Regina George, so it kind of shows you that the daughter gets it from the mom, and then how she's passing this on to her little sister. So it's like this is the generation, then this is the generation, then this is the generation. So it's kind of like a three-way generation gap to where, the father is kind of like, looks like the quarterback that married the prom queen, who is like, depressed that, the wife is turning the daughters into, the same thing. And I think that is so great. I mean, this just is hidden narrative about it, where it's like, you see, and then on top of that, I do like how she has his best friend Gretchen. She has his best friend, played by Lizzie Kaplan, who Janice Ian, who everybody calls Janice Ian Dyke because they made fun of her, because even if they call her a lesbian, even though she's not, she's just like, she's, because what, like, she thought she was friends with Regina when they were kids, and then, Regina badmouthed her because, she thought Regina blew her off, and then they got into it, and then of course Regina spent an awful rumor about her. It wasn't true. And then of course, Regina, and so now, like, everybody she makes fun of, like, and she has a burn book, and I like that the burn book is like everybody's secrets in there, and I think that is so great. My favorite part of it, is like, I like the Halloween party and everything, where then they go to the Halloween party, and like she's dressed up like, no, she doesn't realize because she's from Africa. Nobody, like, she doesn't know that nobody, like, everybody thinks Halloween is like, we're supposed to dress like something scary. Nobody's dressed like something scary. Everybody's dressing sexy. And so you learn, like, this Psycho Brian with his fucked up teeth. And then she feels everybody scares the shit out of everybody. And especially at the end when she opens the door and goes, ah! He falls down. And he's like, that's a scary mask, bro. Like, that made me laugh hysterically. And on top of that, and also I like how, there's also, I like, whenever she starts sabotaging Regina, like, she basically, like, she cuts a holes, like, Gretchen cuts a holes in there where she wears it, and then all of a sudden, everybody's wearing it around school, or then she puts foot cream instead of face cream, and it smells like a foot, and everything. And I also like how Regina, like, she sees this, like, like, she says, like, oh, this is like in the jungle, and everybody be fighting like animals. And then she attacks Regina in her mind, and then, like, everybody's like, like, two lions going at it and everything. And that was pretty cool. And then there's a scene like when they're at the mall, and it's like she imagines like animal, like it's an animal kingdom. And she's like, oh, the animal kingdom and the high school kingdom is not that different because we're just more evolved, And I thought that's really interesting. And I also like how Regina just makes a phone call because she's like because Gretchen Wiener's like, he's my man. He should not be out with her. So Gretchen Wiener's, so then of course, Rachel McAdams' character Regina calls this woman's mom and says she has the free clinic results and everything, ruins her life. I mean, just stuff like that. And Tim Meadows is really funny too as the high school principal. And, like, when he's giving a monologue about how his sister named his kid Anthony, his name's Anthony, and I get mad at my sister for naming him Anthony instead of Anthony, or basically, like, whenever they're in assembly, and they're asking, has Regina George ever hurt anyone's feelings? And everybody in the school raises their hands, including the principal. Or whenever, like, everybody's talking about Regina George's gossip, and then, like, everybody's talking about, like, everybody in the high school is talking about Regina George's gossip, saying, I heard about them and Aaron Samuels. And then the principals that are talking, like, I heard about him and Aaron Samuels, they broke up. And I'm like, where do you know this stuff? Why do you know? Why is this important to you? Like, it's just stuff like that. And also, I like how, like, whenever, like the Damien, who is this gay character who is really good, and he basically tries to, like, puts a ski mask and tries to steal Lindsay Lohan's purse to try to catch Aaron cheating on him, to try to steal Aaron away, because it's like, we gotta pull away, we gotta ruin her figure, we gotta get rid of Aaron. And then on top of that, we got to get rid of the plastics too. So basically, and then they try to capture her. And so basically, they run upstairs to, like, the auditorium where Regina usually makes out. And the first time, like you said, that swim trials, he walks in there, and the guy in his underwear goes hi, and he just leaves. The second time, runs up there, guy's in a ski mask, then he grabs the purse, and then he catches her. They walk into the room, and it's just Coach Carr making out with Train Pack. And he goes, Coach Carr, and then he's like, Train Pack, just, and it's stuff like that. And also, it's really funny, whenever they do Jingle Bell Rock, and then, like, the tape jams, because Gretchen Wieners hits the tape accidentally because she's messed up because she's using a lot of signs. They're trying to get Gretchen Wieners, and she kicks the tape and hits Jason in the face. Or, whenever, my favorite scene that I love is whenever they take the burn, she takes the burn book and throws it everywhere, and then everybody reads it. Like, that's so good, like, and he goes, like, like, when she's like, you little bitch, you're the bitch, and then, like, they start fighting, and everything, and the principal just gets the baseball bat and everything, and Regina George just admiring her handiwork, you know, and just like she's just watching all this chaos erupt and everything, and like this nerdy kid's like, Mom, can you come get me? I'm scared, you know, and just stuff like that is what's so great about this movie, and just seeing how like chaos erupts through rumors and gossip. And this movie is like, this is how something would happen if, like, you know, someone spreads all these rumors around. I mean, this is just, it's insane. And I like how they do the truth thing at the end, and how, like, until like the Gretchen Wiener says like just something horrible, and then Elspeth went to, and then the dumb girl got to catch her. They fall. I mean, it's just so funny. I mean, it does show you that. I do like how it resolves itself at the end, how they all basically come together. And, you know, we're all competing against this one title, when it's just really, we're all special in our own way. We don't need to have these like titles. We don't need to be these certain people, because the expectations, you were never going to be happy if we always have to have expectations. And I think that's what's so great about it. It's like, I could call you fat and skinny. Doesn't make myself, I'm just going to make me feel better. That's not going to make you feel better. And that's not going to make it true or not. I mean, you could still beat me at a mathlete competition. Doesn't mean, me calling you fat or skinny does not mean you're going to win. I'm going to win. Just means I'm just going to say something horrible. And you're going to probably feel bad, but then eventually you're going to beat me and you're going to be better than me. Just making you feel the better person. And I think that's what's so great about the message of this movie, is that it is really, it's a movie that shows you that it teaches you not to be mean. Like, it shows you, like, okay, see all these people are doing horrible things, and see, realizing by them trying to ruin Regina's life, they were actually making themselves do worse, and they're actually making themselves horrible people, rather than just, like, you know, learning the mistakes themselves. Also, it was funny that watching Regina get hit by a bus, and then, like, you know, I think she kind of did deserve it, but, you know, but I do like the messages of this movie. Although, yes, the main message is not to let somebody get hit by a bus, but it's just to, like, treat people fairly, treat people how you want to be treated, rather than trying to bully and belittle people and everything. Because, you know, obviously we've all met Regina Georges in our life, and I think that it's great that, you know, this movie teaches you not to be like Regina George, to be more like, you know, a Catty Heron before she, you know, became like a queen bee. And I thought that was really great. Now, how she, by doing that, is turning herself into a queen bee, but then she realizes, you know, like when she made that metaphor about when you get bit by a snake, you have to suck out the poison. I think that's what's so great about this movie. And I think it really stands out in its own, and I really love this movie. If I had negatives, I really would say, though, I think after, like, the bus, it kind of drags a little bit, but it not in where, like, oh, I can't stand it. But I will say I've never got bored of this movie. I could say where there was, like, one or two sequences I could cut out of the movie, where I'm like, oh, do we really need this sequence? You know, but, like, other than that, I really enjoy this movie. It's a fantastic movie. I love it. If I had to give it a grade, I would give it an A+.
I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me, but I can't help it that I'm popular.
Walk it off! Walk it off!
Okay. You know who's looking fine tonight? Seth Mosikowski. He is your cousin.
What? He's a good kisser.